Hey, this is Fletch. Welcome to Buccaneers Bay. Today episode is just the review of the 2024 draft, man, and just it was fun, going over and watching all the picks and seeing everybody get drafted. Congratulations to everybody who's been drafted in the NFL. It's a huge dream, it's a huge accomplishment. Seeing a couple of the players crying and just seeing everything come true in front of their eyes. I'm happy for the people. I'm happy for what they strive for. And Jason Lynch and Mike, man, y'all, you did very well. I give this overall. I give it a A. I'm gonna go through all the draft picks, but you have to give them a credit. Everybody is a fit and they didn't reach, which I think is really good. Shocked they didn't trade. Usually they'll trade back or trade up. Just one, but I think what he got in return with just sitting is pretty good, man. First I'm gonna start with Graham. I did it in my last episode, but I'm gonna just start from top to bottom. And I give this an A. Graham, they said they have you at center. I don't, they could move you around and see if they want to start Hainsey at center and you at guard, or just trying to figure out who's going to be the starting five offensive lines. But obviously that's for OTAs and stuff like that. He played out of left tackle, obviously, but center will be home. 6'5", like 315, big guy, tenacious, very more sound, especially in the run game with Graham over Hainsey. I think he's going to be helpful to the 32nd rush defense. And I just want to add that we made it to the divisional round dead last in rushing. I you have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's a very small amount of teams that was able to do that if you went over just in years, bro, because it's hard. If you can't run the ball, it's hard to win games in the league, and that just shows you how much talent it was and how much of a void of the running game was, man. And I think he's going to set it off. He's a Pro Bowl center. He's going to be a Pro Bowl center. I'm not worried. Even the draft experts, I haven't heard anything bad about him. They know, and for him to drop, thank God Dallas traded back. Thank God Green Bay took somebody else. I really needed this guy to come and change life. He's great. He's great. I needed a center, somebody with a little of tenacity. They said he got a little bit of Ryan Jensen, but he seems to me a little more Tristan Wirfs guy. Um, you know, great, but he seems a little bit more laid back. That's fine, But overall, you got to give this a A. I think everybody else would agree, and we come out with one of the best interior linemen in the draft, uh, Chris Braswell. So um, looking at the film, you know, I think he's good in the run. I think he's gonna play and eventually take JTS starting position. I think it could be somewhat of a Yaya Diaby type situation. Um, Obviously he'll probably be rotational, but depending on what he gives, like Yaya, when you watch the film early on, week 1, week 2, week 3, um, especially in that Saints game, you're like, wow, he needs to get more minutes. So if he gives more of those wild plays on those all 22s and coaches and looking back and reviewing and seeing, he's going to get more snaps as the week go by. And he led the team in forced fumbles last year. Played all 14 games, but he's only started 2 games. He was mostly a reserve. He's behind Dallas Turner and Will Anderson for the most of the time. So he was behind great players, first round draft picks. I think he's the best of the tier 2 guys because there was a run on the edge rushers, late Latu versus Turner, Chop. I think they all went within like 7 picks of each other, if I'm not mistaken. But um and I think he could be good. Obviously, he has a variety of moves, different. He has a speed to power thing that he has, and I feel like it was good value because you almost get him in the third round as well. And he fits the mold of what you want a buck to be. You know, he seemed like he didn't want to transfer. He just wanted to fight and grind and get on the field, and I like that. I think he fits in well with what we want to do, and that's fight. And I'm gonna give this a B. I'm gonna give this a B. Say B plus. Nah, I give this a B. I think it was good. Now, obviously, the third, this man, this man cooked. I got to be honest with you. B plus on the Smith, Tyke Smith. Listen, led Georgia in tackles. All right, led Georgia's in tackles. My guy, plug and play nickel corner day one. Can expect turnovers and him to be physical. He's going to be physical early on and up front with people. He's not. I've seen him engage in offensive linemen, and he took the ownership of being physical and still being undersized. I know his physicals, his 40 was good, but some of his physicals wasn't the best. But this is a guy who fits with Bowles wants to do. You know, he do a little bit of both, zone and man, can first force turnovers and blitz. You know, great value in the third, especially if he takes over Christian Izzy, which you know they have to battle it out in camp. You don't really know, but if he wins the game, wins the position, then obviously uh, credit to him. But I think he's going to be a hell of a player. Had 8 tackles for loss too, and 2 sacks, 4 picks, and 2 pass deflections. So I'm happy. And then my favorite pick, without question, my favorite pick of the draft, Jalen McMillan. Man, I gave this an A plus to get him 92, a little before the fourth. And honestly, his stock just dropped because he got injured. But the year before, 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 9 TDs, and and what we and what we're going to ask him to do is sit in the soft zone, watch when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin dictate coverage, just like Polk and Rose Aduze. You just work well with the other 2 wide receivers, and you expose the other stuff. You take advantage of the one-on-ones that they're going to give you. They're not going to give you the same looks, and I think he can excel at that. Low 4.4, 6'1", very good at route running, very savvy, and he just understands the nuances of route running. I can't say enough about this guy. I think he's the key to evolving the offense. I obviously after Graham Barton, but I think if he can slide in the Chris Godwin role, give him a little screens as well. I've seen a couple of screens that you can give him as too. He got a little rack to him. I mean yak to him. So I I I think this is a hell of a pick. A great pick, man. Bucky Irving. Um, we desperately needed another back. To me personally, I didn't like the running back core. I think you're relying on Sean Tucker to step up too much, but I just have to see him on the field. And Chase Edmonds at this point is like should be RB3 and give you good special teams, but I just don't think he's going to give you the same as a Bucky Irving, man. He led the nation in forced missed tackles per attempt while being first in catches in his conference. So he's a dual threat guy. He, I wouldn't say he has that burner speed, but he's slippery. And he has elusiveness to him, which I like as well. You don't have to run a 4.3 to be a good running back, and I think he shows that he's very crafty and he got a little punch to him, and just looking at the picks, just from this pick until the first, you could tell they emphasize on the run game as well as smart and physical players. you know, especially with the Tyke Smith and Graham Barton. I think those are will be the physical guys out of this whole thing. And you know, I gave it Bucky Irvin, well, especially for the fifth, because I thought it was he was going to be going about a fourth. I kind of gave it an A minus. Um, but I love it so much because I think he breathes air in this running back room, and we could be way more potent. Probably run two running back sets with both of them out there. So I think that is great as well. Elijah Klein, 5 year starter at UTEP in a heavy run offense. Just going off what people have been saying and what I've been looking up as well, and just reading over, his IQ is off the charts. He's a roll grader, a physical mauler up front, and he's going to add and revamp the running game if he reaches his potential. But I think this guy can do a lot of things, especially in the run game. They heavy emphasis on that. If we're up 12 trying to run the ball, he fits it. He fits what you want to do at that point in time of the football game. So I'm just happy with what they tried to do in so far. And what's this round six? Yeah, pick 220, Elijah Klein. Gave it a B as well. Get solid pick. Add depth to the offensive line, and we revamped the offensive line as well. For the most part, especially the depth of it. Completely ripped it out. And I think everybody agrees we just needed to get more physical and better. And I feel like we completely got better as far as the offensive line and just in bodies as well. So yeah. And obviously, 246, the last pick, is Devin Cole. And I gave this a B as well, but he's different than the other tight ends we have. This man ran the fastest 40. Um, at the combine, ran a 4.48, like just ridiculous speed, 6'3", 250. But he's very good at the crossing routes, obviously that I've seen it, but really a vertical threat, man, and just great at contested catches. So it was some different juice in the tight end room, but I think we need athleticism everywhere. I think, um, especially with this type of speed at his type of body. With this tight end body, I think we can try some things and see if he can make the roster and just make an impact to the team overall. But yeah, man, I believe in Jason, and Jason balled out yet again and gave Bucks fans, all the Bucks fans, to look forward to. Man, we should be the favorites after the draft. I felt before the draft we should obviously be the favorites, but if you feel if you had to pick a team after drafting in this division, it would be us. Just non-biasedly, it would be us. So it was great. I believe in this team. I believe in the rookies. I believe we can get it done next year. And but that's me wrapping up the 7 picks that we've taken in the 2024 draft. OTAs are starting to come up, and the rookie minicast will start as well. So I'll be in touch, going over some of the things and what Liam Cohen wants to emphasize and all the other things that's going on in between for the Bucks off season as well. Thanks you for listening to the Buccaneers Bay. If you can, subscribe to the socials at up at top. And this is Fletch signing out, man.